Yes, it's a tricky one from here, I see.
Yes, I know. Right, yes, Caddy, I believe a 9-iron should do it.
Yeah, good decision, my golfing captain. Here you go.
Right, go. Right. See what we can do with this baby. Okay, this one for the match. Oh, for goodness sake, stop shaking!
Oh, sorry. Would it be too much to ask for you not to hit me this time?
Yes, it would.
Oh, that is good, huh?
Who's the daddy, eh?
You the daddy, huh?
Yes. Right, time for another round.
No, my captain.
What? You dare say no to your captain?
No, I mean yes. Oh, no, look, there is something I meant to tell you earlier that my brain has just remembered now. The crew have been complaining about you-know-who again.
Not again? Oh, look, go and talk to Maurice and sort it out.
Oh, no, he's far too angry and French. And besides, the tonsils in my knee have been aching again.
Your tonsils aren't in your knee, they're in your throat.
Oh, well, that explains a lot. Not only are you captain of the ship, you're a medical genius as well, huh?
You really are a sniveling toad, Tortilla.
Oh, thank you, my captain. Sometimes you are so nice to me. Then other days, not so nice.
You do pipe down! Now, come on, I'll sort this out!
Yeah. Are you sure this is a good idea, my
Yes, will you stop?
captain? But it is not such a good idea to do.
Oh, stop whining. He's a pussycat.
He's a cat? What do you mean?
Ah, bonjour, Maurice, my favorite French rat. How are we today, eh? Look, I hope you won't take this the wrong way, Maurice.
Yes.
Yes. There's been some complaints about, hygiene. Yes.
Yes?
Well, it's the kitchen. It's perhaps a little too clean.
Yes?
Well, it's just that it's putting some rats off their food. You know how they are. It doesn't bother me at all. No.
Look, Master, it's almost spotless.
Yes, it's almost spotless, you see.
Oh. I'm so sorry that my kitchen's not dirty enough.
Yes,
It's not that you haven't a million things to do!
No, of course.
Cooking morning, noon and night for you lot of bum scratchers!
Yes, yes.
Oh, when have I got time to dirty this kitchen up, huh?
No.
Huh?
Right. Well, it was just like...
Right, I'm off home back to France, thank you. That's it.
Oh, no, my favorite French rat. What would we do without you, of course? Tortilla. Tortilla, how dare you? How dare you suggest that this kitchen was too clean?
But it was you that...
Oh.
Look, I'd love it if this kitchen was filthy dirty. But there's only so much one chef can do.
Yes, I know. If only there were two of you, Maurice. If only there were two. Tortilla! Tortilla! How dare you leave my side?
Sorry, Your Vileness.
Get everyone together. I feel a tail coming on.
Speaking of tails, could someone help me find mine? Oh. What is it, my captain?
I found these back on my travels in the late 1990s.
I believe them to be human spare parts.
Yes. Let me tell you a tale that will make the fleas jump off your back. Young Duncan Dunwell had the richest parents in the world. He lived in a huge mansion and had all the latest toys and wanted for nothing.
Except for baby screamed my head off. Oh, it's the latest doll. It screams, and its head literally falls off. Oh, yeah.
Shut up! The one thing in the world that Duncan didn't have was a friend. You see, that's something money just can't buy. Mr. and Mrs. Darnwell were extremely overprotective of their only child. He had his own private tutor, and if Duncan wanted to play football, they would simply pay for the local football team to come over and play.
He sounds like a spoiled brat.
Ah, well, that's where you're wrong, Peppa. Duncan was a perfectly good-natured young man, and he knew how lucky he was. But he just wasn't happy. Then one day he was playing on a new skateboard in the garden when he had a fall. It felt like he'd broken his hand. Duncan showed his mother, and she totally overreacted. Now that Duncan thought about it, it was the first injury he'd ever had. Before he knew it, Duncan was bundled into a strange-looking ambulance. And the hospital that they arrived at looked more like a modern office building. It wasn't long before a doctor appeared to take a look at Duncan's hand. He studied it and explained to his parents that it was definitely broken. And there was a distinct possibility that his hand may not regain full movement.
No.
He suggested that they should perhaps consider option C.
What's option C?
Duncan had no idea, but his parents seemed to think it was a good idea. Duncan had to stay in overnight in the hospital and have an operation first thing in the morning. But he didn't really mind, as it was the first time he'd ever been out of his parents' watchful gaze. Perhaps there were other children in the hospital that he could make friends with. And so, Duncan sneaked out of his room and went exploring, hoping to find a playmate. Duncan soon found himself in a restricted area where no patients should go.
But why would he go there, my captain?
Because he was sure he could hear children's voices. As soon as Duncan entered the restricted area, the talking stopped. Then he got the fright of his life when he was confronted by himself!
Well, you know, if you're not prepared for a mirror, it can be quite a fright.
No, it was no mirror. It was his clone.
His what?
A clone is your exact double. You see, option C for the super rich is to have yourself cloned, so that if you have an accident, you've got all the spare parts you need waiting in a top-secret medical facility. When super rich Duncan was born, his DNA was sampled, and a replica Duncan was grown in a lab.
So, if you damage a leg, they replace it with your clone's one.
But then the clone would have no leg.
So what? It's only a clone.
But that's barbaric.
Yes, and that's exactly what Duncan thought. Duncan, too, as he was known, introduced Duncan to other clones, most with all kinds of bits missing. Oh, it was enough to break Duncan's heart. Yes, and he suddenly realized that all because of a broken hand, his clone would have to lose an arm. Selfish, rich folk without a care in the world, knowing that if their kids ever broke anything or needed any new bits, they could take it from a body double.
I blame computer games.
Oh, shut up, you sniveling slug! All the clones seemed really nice and very excited to hear of Duncan's tales of the outside world. Well, they'd never been outside their room, you see. He talked with them for hours on end, Then it was time for Duncan to go. He told his clone that he would insist the surgeon not operate the next morning. At 7 a.m., the doctor arrived in for a pre-op checkup. The doctor...
Doctor who?
No! The doctor was amazed.
Ah, Dr. Amazed. Yes. He's the one that wanders around all day with a surprised look on his face.
One more and it'll be you who'll need the doctor.
For what?
To remove my boot from your bum! As I was saying, the doctor was amazed. When Duncan explained that his hand had sort of, well, clicked back into place during the night, the doctor examined it and the hand seemed perfectly fine. The operation was no longer necessary.
Oh, good old Duncan. He was a nice guy after all.
Of course, it took Duncan a few days to get used to the layout of his house. Where his bedroom was, where the bathroom was, and what time dinner was at.
But he was only gone one night.
Was he? You see, as Duncan was leaving the clone room, the last thing he was expecting was a bump on the head. He woke up the next morning, not in his pajamas, but in white overalls, with a wristband that read, Duncan 2.
No!
He pleaded with the staff and told them that he belonged on the outside, but they just laughed, and said they'd heard that one before.
Oh, no!
Meanwhile, Duncan's clone had a lot of living to do, and he persuaded his parents to take him on a skiing trip.
But skiing is a highly dangerous sport for a beginner. You could break many bones.
Well, why worry when you've got all the spare parts you need? After all, it's only a clone.
But was the real Duncan not happy now that he made some friends, even if they were only clones?
Well, yes. But unfortunately, Duncan's clone was a little accident-prone. And it's quite hard to play with your new friends when you've been reduced to just a head in a jar.
That is a shocking story, my master. Just one question, my captain.
Yes?
Whatever happened to Dr. Amazed? Yeah, no, I would very much like to send him a Christmas card. He sounds like a nice fellow, yes.
Tortilla,
What?
prepare for my boot.
Oh, no!
Right, you lot! Dinner's served!
Stop it!
It's very hot now. Keep away from the pan, Get back now, careful.
Ah, Maurice, what masterpiece have you created for us, eh?
All right, well, not that you deserve it, but it's a French delicacy from my hometown. It's haggis stuffed with snot-filled pig snouts, old man's trousers infused with essence of donkey belch.
Delicious!
And if I catch any one of you doing the dishes, I'll pulverize you! Right, tuck in. Ready for everyone.
Come on, move it or lose it. Get out of my way.
Stop nibbling me here, will
I
you?
have extra snot.
All right, Captain.
No, thank you, chef.
Tortilla gets out of the pan. Tortilla gets out of the pan.